Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Just Enough Heshy Show, and maybe the last Just Enough Heshy Show before the election, that's for sure. And on June 22nd, Sawyer, we're gonna. But I didn't.
It's not going to be the last show.
No, but it's the last show before the
While
election.
you're sitting in your new office, Mr. Councilman, your honor, your esteemed councilman, while you're sitting there, I'll be doing the show with Bummy.
No, but I'm going to join you in the show. I'm still allowed to do the show. It's going to be after hours, 9 o'clock Wednesday night.
It's going to be the Soya and Bummy show.
No, Heshy.
Or just the Soya show.
I hate you so much. By the way, hello, Sawyer. You look so pretty. Today you did
especially.
Yeah. She even put on a lipstick for me for the first
I put
time.
on for you. Yeah, okay.
Not for me, for the audience.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy you did it. But guys, we're going to have a great show tonight. This show is sponsored by who, Sawyer?
This show is being sponsored by the committee to elect Heshy Tischler. And don't forget to go to heshytischler.com.
Why should they go to heshytischler.com?
You tell them.
Well, they should. Wow, you're just a great co-host. You should donate to my account, guys. We're doing great. We haven't taken any matching funds like my competitors. We've raised the most money. We're going out to each of them got $120,000 to $160,000 from the city. We took nothing from the city.
No matching funds.
And I want you to. We're qualified to take as much matching funds as well. We didn't take it, and I want you to know this is the way you do business, guys. HeshyTischler.com. This show is sponsored by the committee to elect Heshy Tischler, which is me. And of course, HeshyTischler.com is of course, endorsing myself. Well, am I endorsing myself?
We're endorsing you. We're all endorsing you.
Wonderful.
Everybody go out and vote. You only have until the 22nd, and you can start voting already. So run down to your local poll and vote for Heshy Tischler.
Early voting is now until June 20th, but June 22nd is election day, guys, and we're going to talk all about all the people we
Somebody was sending around a WhatsApp or something and telling people which order to vote in.
Yeah.
And they had the nerve to send it to me, listing you somewhere like, the second or third or something. And I'm like, why? Like, that I'm doing the show with him.
Well, we're going to talk. We have a special guest caller today.
List Heshy as number 1. Who you list as number 2, 3, and 4, we don't care.
Well, we're going to talk about that.
Kind of care.
Our guest is going to call in soon. But anyways, let's do a couple of commercials and sponsors. What do we got?
We have High Tech Web Group. Have you been pushing off remodeling or creating a website? Well, now you don't have to any longer. Let High Tech Web Group's team of professionals construct your site with skill and precision. You can reach High Tech.
I taught you how to do this, and you're messing up still.
You flub. I don't say boo. Okay, I flub. You're on me like.
Just finish the
whatever.
Commercial. Go ahead.
You can reach High Tech Web Group at 212-235-2777. That's 212-235-2777. Check out their website at info@hightechwebgroup.com. That's info at HITECHWEBGROUP.com. Call High Tech Web Group today so you can experience a whole new world of business.
212-235-2777. High Tech Web Group.
We have Plaza Auto Leasing. They are not only a leasing company, but also a dealership.
He's my client now.
Yes, he is. You interrupt me and then you complain when it's not flowing.
Oh, sorry.
You get the best of both worlds. The flexibility to lease or buy any vehicle, make or model, combined with quick service, huge inventory, and easy approvals. There is no finance manager to meet with, just a friendly pal sales representative that can handle most of the transaction from start to finish without you even having to step foot in their office. All you have to do is place your order, and they will even deliver your car right to your door. What are you waiting for? Become a pal and call Plaza Auto Leasing today. You can reach Plaza Auto Leasing at 718-975-9000. That's 718-975-9000. You can also check out their website at www.plazaautoleasing.com. That's PLAZAAUTOLEASING.com. Located at 2750, that's 2750 Nostrand Avenue on the corner of Nostrand Avenue and Avenue N. Call 718-975-9000 and become a pal today. And don't forget to tell them Uncle Heshy sent you.
718-975-9000. I know why you're making the mistakes. You're chewing gum in the middle of the show.
It's not gum. It's sucking candy.
So I don't understand you. We're professionals.
Yes, we are.
Okay, go ahead.
Baruch's Barbershop, located at Located at 108 Avenue I, the official singing barber of Heshy Tischler.
He called me today screaming at me, Heshy, if you don't get in here, I'm coming to your house. He said, I got to cut your hair before the election. I want to make you look good. So
Gotta look good.
I know.
You gotta look good, Mr. Councilman.
Good.
Okay, you can reach Boris Barbershop at 718-758-5187. That's 718-758-5187. Or call, text, WhatsApp Baruch personally to schedule your appointment at 347-845-9131. 347-845-9131.
I'm very upset with him. He's taking off on Friday. Friday's my usually haircut day. I don't know why he's doing that to me. That's why he's forcing me to come in early. But you know what? I'm going to make him come
He
to
should be working around your schedule, not
I agree. You see, Sawyer, that's why now you're a good co-host. You're getting a raise.
Green Line Building Solutions, Preservation and Development, Fire Department, Criminal Court, Department of Finance, Environmental Control Board settlements, building consultation, violation removal, construction management, owner compliance, contracting, licensed Department of Building Expediters and Designs. Professionals for all your building solutions. 202 Foster Avenue. They're located at 202 Foster Avenue. You can reach them at 718-871-0382. That's 718-871-0382.
Wow, that was good. And then where we have Traveler's Choice.
Where is Bummy?
I know that. He always messes up. Thank goodness he's not here. 212-868-8698. Traveler's Choice for Yossi and Devorah Lifer. I love them. They help you with passports now.
Everything.
Visas.
They became very complicated to get visas now.
I know. And you should know you can get all your flights well done, well priced. He knows how to get the lowest fares in town from Florida to California and like Bumi says, even China, which why would you want to go to China?
The best travel agent in town, and you want him to take care of everything for you, from A to Z.
He made me come to one of his kids, like a carnival outside, and we took pictures together.
Oh, that was his.
That was his carnival, and I didn't have $2 on me, and I hope he paid those kids. I'm gonna go beat him up. 212-868-8698. Yossi Devorah Lifer.
Traveler's Choice is your only choice for travel.
Excellent. And then, of course, again, HeshyTischler.com. That's our final commercial for today.
And you can call into the show at 718-289-0070. That's 718-289-0070.
This show is no holds bar. Any question.
Don't forget also to send questions to YouTube. You can ask any questions, and
that's it.
I'll probably be answering them.
We'll answer them. Don't forget, we have shout outs to my little boy, Ellie. And don't forget Mira Nava and Lila.
Lila Tamar.
So cool.
Dov and Shani Hikin. Sergeant Peter. My beautiful Shoshana.
Okay, we got and of course the shout out for Bumi, who never shows up anymore.
Bummy.
Anyways, guys, this is our show tonight. We're going to have a wonderful show. We're going to talk about everything. But, of course, the election is one of the most important things that are coming up right now. Guys, wake up. Get ready to vote. We're going to make changes. Be serious. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to take possession of that seat and start. We're going to have our quote of the day. Is that ready? Are you ready for that, Sonia?
I'm ready.
Good. Here's my quote. Better to fight for something than to live for nothing. I cannot trust a man to control others who can't control himself. So I want you to know, I don't trust Cuomo. I don't trust Mr. de Blasio, whatever the idiot's name is. I don't trust...
He's not even in existence right now.
You know what he's doing? He's making firecracker shows. That's what we're doing, fireworks. He's just lost. I mean, he's spending millions of dollars when we need millions of dollars for ourselves. You think these fireworks shows are free? They're not free. They're not cheap. It's unacceptable. Don't forget, everybody, call into the show, 718-289-0070. And now, Sawyer, are you ready for my funny joke again?
Okay, go ahead.
So today...
I laugh now?
No, not yet.
Okay.
You see, last week I had a good guy who laughed right away. He was so cool. But I want you to know, me and Linda today, we were doing robocall practice. And it's going to sound real nice. You heard the finished results.
Yeah.
It took us 71 takes.
Oh, I thought you were going to take 71 hours.
No. Trust me, I couldn't do that with Linda. So I asked Linda, why can't you read the script correctly? She says, I don't have my glasses on. I said, then why don't you get the glasses, you crazy boy? I tell you, that girl can make me miserable. Finally, she got the glasses. We got it done because we both did the robocall. But here's a story that reminded me while we were sitting there. me and my little son Jacob were sitting in the living room, and Linda was in the kitchen washing. Linda was washing dishes with my son Avram, our producer over here. So all of a sudden, boom! We heard a crash of all the dishes, and all of a sudden, silence. Avram looked at me and said, "It was mommy." I said, "How do you know that, Avram?" He says, "You didn't hear anybody screaming." You know what I mean?
Okay.
Otherwise, she'd be screaming at me. Okay, well, I thought that was a funny joke. We're going to start.
It's true. I
is
got
true,
it.
right?
I got
You
it.
get
I got
Thank
it.
God.
I
Well, you
got
didn't
it.
really laugh. That was a fake laugh, Sawyer. Guys, we have serious issues coming up right now in this election. And I want to first talk about your president before I want to get to that out of the way. The man
What
is,
president? Which one?
He is your
We
president.
have a president?
We have a President Biden. No
I'm
matter what-
sorry.
whatever you want to say, he's the president. He's making mistakes, as you can see when he was
I'm sorry. Actually, we need to talk about this. There is no level of you need to have like something.
You keep forgetting the president is the boss. There is administration. He does have an administration in place. He does make mistakes. Like when now he was in England, he forgot that the the president Boris Johnson introduced the president of South Africa, and then he forgot right there sitting in front of him. Of course, these are little mistakes.
Little mistakes? Every day he's making another mistake. I'm not allowed to talk. I can't talk.
But the bottom line is the country hasn't fallen apart. It hasn't.
What are you talking about? I seriously believe that we're in danger right now from China and Russia.
Right.
I feel that they see how weak we
Do
are.
you know what I heard?
Did you see him with the Queen?
Well, you know what I want.
She looked like she was like she was a matriarch, and she was like taking two special needs people with her for a walk.
But do you know? I know Krista is going to call in. I'm going to ask Christopher Messi about this. Do you know that that China has now a nuclear, some kind of a leak in one of their nuclear plants? Of course, they're saying it didn't pass, or it didn't send out any radiation. But soon we're going to find out that again.
You believe it didn't send out?
I know.
I'm sorry, the virus didn't come from the Wuhan lab. I mean, and if you can ask Dr. Fauci, he'll tell you that it didn't come. Or did it come? He's not sure.
They couldn't kill us with a virus. Now they're going to get us with radiation. You just watch. Something new is going to pop up very soon, guys, and I don't know what to do. But that's enough of that. In the mayoral race, now I'm telling you, I know I don't want to hear who you're voting for, so because you want to keep it quiet. I'm telling you now, as a Democrat, I'm going to have to vote. And I'm going to vote for Eric Adams. I'm not voting for Yang, who's a flip-flop. He didn't even take...
What happened with Sliwa?
1 minute. I'm not finished. I have no choice. I can't vote for Sliwa right now. You Republicans can vote for Sliwa.
I'm not voting Republican.
Right.
I'm like the Trojan horse. I grew up as a Republican, but I feel like the Democrats are running everything. So I figured if you can't beat them, join them.
No.
But then vote for whoever.
Right.
No?
So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to get in the weakest candidate, which is Eric Adams. And even though Yang might have power in the second shot, right now Eric Adams has a 7-point lead. Eric Adams, who, I don't know, is playing the game. He went behind the scenes to different places. Our FJCC endorsed him. Our politicians endorsed Yang. Again, we're split. Then you have commercials going out. Go out and vote. Go out and vote. You don't even know who we should vote for. You're telling us to vote. Anyways, my point is Eric Adams, I believe, I'm praying, will lose to a Republican candidate because I know that Eric won't cooperate. I thought I could work with him, but I believe that when I get to city council, he's not going to work with us. He's going to play the same game. So yes, Sliwa, I believe I might be able to talk to him, hopefully. And Fernando Mateo, he seems like a guy who understands. He told me specifically when I was at an interview with him the other day that, he understands how these commissioners work and how they torture the TLC that he runs. So do I believe them? Hopefully I have to believe somebody. Eric Adams and Yang, out of the question. So guys, I'm voting for Eric Adams, and in the final election, I'm going to pick Curtis Lee or Mateo, whoever wins that race over there.
And God help us all.
God help us all.
Can I read you? Somebody told me about Biden today, and they said something how crazy it is, and I just responded and I wrote this. It is a crime for him to be in any public office, let alone the president of this country. There is nothing presidential about him. In hundreds of years, we have had less than 50 people being president. It should be a coveted position with some sort of standards and qualifications. This thing, sitting in office, never should have qualified as the president-elect, let alone be allowed to actually take office in the blatantly obvious condition he's been in for quite some time.
I don't understand
and
what
the
you're saying.
fact that he's deteriorating and taking this country down is just plain insane. And yet nobody who is in power to actually do something about it is doing anything. Not mentally fit. I don't care if he can pedal his bicycle without training wheels.
Okay, I got that. You want to curse out Biden? Just like, do you believe Trump is coming back? We're going to ask that to Christopher
Not
Messi.
curse him out. He belongs in a nursing home.
okay.
It's a full-time job for
I
his
got that.
wife.
By the way, Linda has done two videos with me by the polling booths and another one. And
I saw her. They're so cute. And I saw your sister. She's delicious.
Is she not delicious?
She's delicious. I've met her on Shabbos, but she's delicious.
Everybody's sending me comments. Finally, we get to meet Linda. Finally, Linda's talking. Linda's always been talking. Trust me, she's talking. Today was the first day she says, Heshy, I might be the first lady.
Your mother-in-law. Everybody was instructing you, vote for my son-in-law, vote for my brother.
I tried to trick my mother-in-law saying, Linda's bad. She says, no, she voted for you. I love it. Let's take a phone. Take line 1. Go ahead. Let's hope you don't lose him.
Hello, you're on the air with Heshy.
Hello?
Hi, you're on the air with Heshy and Soya.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Oh, wow, Chris. This is crunch time, 5 days to go.
It is.
I'm so happy you called in because, listen, you know that I'm excited. I think I got it. But, Chris, we got some issues. They opened up our city now, supposedly, which the man made fireworks, spent millions of dollars celebrating, but the man doesn't understand we have to have the city open and spend the money when we're $9 billion in the hole, Chris. And we're just, I'm telling you, every day the issues get worse and worse. And do you know that over the weekend, Chris, I'm not talking the year and the month, 19 shootings, 2 murders. Do I have to continue with more about rapes, robberies, attacks? They attacked me last week on the street, Palestinians, right in front of my house. Their number, and even though I'm a public figure, but they gave out, I'm telling you, the courts gave it out. She's a Muslim judge, and I did 11 days of community service. They only gave me credit for 6 days because they didn't like that I walked out too many times. Some person, and I'm arguing with the judge, it's here, it's all computerized, it's all in the system. No, well, we're not accepting it. I want you to go back and do 4 more days. And you know what? I'm so disappointed in my lawyers for not fighting it or fighting a piece of law. But you know what? I gave up. I'll go back and do 4 more days. It makes no difference. But I'm just disappointed that it didn't end. And they keep it. But the guy who beat me, the guy who came to my house, got out, Christopher, without bail. Do you understand? Without bail. Someone's got to explain it to me. Anyways, Chris, are you excited about what's going on? Do you think we're going to make a change, or do you think we're all stupid in New York?
I've got huge faith in my former fellow New Yorkers that they're going to make a wise decision, at least insofar as your election goes. The choice of the clowns at the top just hurts my brain.
I know. You have no choice, Chris.
So sad.
Chris, you have no choice. Pick one. You got no choice. Pick them. I want to hear you. I want to hear your pick.
Well, just for pure entertainment value, I just can't imagine how much fun the administration of Mayor Sliwa would be.
Right.
Just fantastic. You know what would end the millisecond after his inauguration is all those idiots loud-mouthing, screaming at the cops in Washington Square Park and elsewhere. It's a disgrace.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
It is a disgrace what has happened in the city that you just can't fix stupid. We're have lost so many friends in New York who just make no sense at all. They live in this theoretical world where, in some ways, the cops are the enemy. The cops are the ones saving your asses from the sleaze, and the judges they have their hands tied right there. They've got these new insane no bail laws, so people who are busy attacking New Yorkers in the streets, they get arrested, and they're out before sundown. It's madness, absolute madness.
Me and Sawyer
you got to
watched-
change it.
Me and Sawyer watched a video of a friend of ours, a deputy inspector, who was standing out by a big protest, and a bunch of them was banging his car, screaming at him in his face, coming up to his face, and he couldn't do anything because, God forbid, he would get in trouble. And it's like you watching a video, they had no shame, Chris. And then the week before, somebody comes into a Jewish neighborhood. Forget that the Palestinians came into my neighborhood. Punched a federal officer in the face. I put it on.
Yep, I saw that. Crazy.
I put it on TikTok and YouTube. They took it off because of violence, so I had to reset it without him hitting. I mean, you're talking straight out, no mercy. No, and then here's the best part. Last week, Thursday, I think it was, right, Sawyer? A young black gentleman came into a pizza shop in the middle of our community. Just walked in, started throwing chairs down, breaking.
Picked up tables, tossed them into the ear.
There was a pregnant woman there who ran into a bathroom and locked herself in.
And she was so lucky that that guy that worked in the pizza shop, I think he worked there, was really a hero because he threw something in at him
He ran out
to provoke him to come run in the other direction.
The guy ran out, then he ran back in and threw a chair at this guy. The guy chased him out, and then people outside the pizza shop finally grabbed him and put him on the floor. And all they were saying is, "Why'd you do this?" He says, "All Jews are crackers." Now I know what the meaning of crackers is in the hip world, but to me, a cracker is something salty that you eat with a little bit of herring, or you know what I mean, chop liver, and that's what it is. And I think crackers are delicious.
If only.
But again, so now I understand that you want Sliwa, but the point is can Sliwa, who can he beat? Because the Democrats do control New York City. Can we beat
the major problem is, and Soya just said it earlier, and I gotta take issue. The problem with all New Yorkers is that every single New Yorker, including Democrats, should vote Republican this time to at least let them know there's competition. Because when you get a one-party state, this is what you get. The politicians are immune to criticism. There are no consequences because they know that they're never going to get voted out. So they can just do whatever they want. They can ratchet up taxes and change regulations and let criminals out in the streets. And as long as most, 99% of Democrat politicians can be assured that they will not be removed from office as a result of this, why on earth does anyone ever think it's going to change? Right? The best definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and hoping for a different result. If New Yorkers keep pulling the lever for Democrats, this is what you're going to get.
Well, the Republican Party's lost. I'm a Democrat, but I agree with you in somewhat that, listen, vote for, the Democrats control. So I'm running as a Democrat, as you know, and no matter what, you're going to have to vote for whoever you like best. But for mayor, mayor is the boss. So it doesn't make a difference that you're voting Democrat, Republican. Vote for the guy that will make change because the mayor is the boss. The city council has 51 members, so we have to fight with each other. So yes, so we're overloaded with Democrats and we'll overload whatever we have, we'll outvote or do whatever we want to do. But still, the mayor is the bottom line with commissioners. The mayor is the bottom line with bureaucracy. The mayor can make so many decisions and push around the budgets. So go ahead, vote your Democratic little people in because there's nothing we could do about it. But for the mayor election, this is the most serious thing we have because if a mayor can stand up to the governor, because the mayor could tell the governor, jump in the lake. The governor, all he can do is send in his little army or militia, and I'm sure he's not going to do it. All we have to do is tell the mayor, pick up your, and I believe that Curtis Lee will tell the mayor, hey, you know what? Here's my finger, Mr. Governor. Jump in the lake if you don't like what I'm doing. The governor, and even now, he lifted most restrictions. After 70% of our people have been inoculated with the fake vaccine, but I took it. After we have the lowest rate in the entire country of 0.041. I mean, 0.04. We're the lowest possible infection
But this
rate.
has never been about the Wuhan fake-demic. This has been about complete societal microcontrol of everyone's life. It has never had anything to do with a damn disease. And I hope Americans wake up to this. I really do. There's this clown working in the Biden administration that just wrote some damn book. God, I can't remember the title. It's so offensive. But the premise of which, well, if we don't just sacrifice a little more, if one more jackass on the public dole whose income income didn't change, talks calmly about we should all just sacrifice a little more. You notice not a single one of them gave up their jobs. That idiot Fauci kept getting his $428,336 a year doing his quote-unquote job. God, it is a nightmare. If people do not toss these clowns out en masse and demand real structural change, the country is going straight down the tubes. It is no longer amusing. It's not even like who gets to sit on the seat on the Titanic. They're printing money like crazy. Yeah. The Chinese are roaring with laughter at us. Roaring with laughter at this feckless bunch of losers. You got John Cena, a big actor who's so stupid he can't even pronounce his own surname, goes on the internet and speaks in Mandarin, apologizing for the great sin of calling Taiwan a country, and all the American left applauds him. It's beyond distressing, and I don't quite see what the light at the end of the tunnel is. And of the candidates for mayor, maybe Eric Adams, maybe Curtis Lewa. I see no one of the stature of Giuliani or Bloomberg standing up, quite frankly.
You wrote, expecting politicians in D.C. to act with dignities as crazy as expecting a drunk kitten to write Shakespeare. And in the words of Shakespeare, I would give all of my fame for a pat of ale and safety. I could tell you this right now. None of the politicians are going to give up anything for anything. They're as bad as they come, all of them.
I want to ask you a question. I understand, according to you and everybody else, the fake pandemic, we needed to make money for the healthcare program, so we put in billions and trillions of dollars to create the vaccine, to make the world whatever it is, and to do something different. We got 170 million Americans vaccinated. They're now doing children, whatever it is, even though they don't need it. As you can see from the history, children did not die from this pandemic.
No,
but okay,
we knew this as early as February of 2020.
Right.
Children were not impacted by this. It was literally more dangerous statistically to be a child under 18 driving on vacation on the highways with your family than it was to catch the Wuhan virus and die. You were more likely as a child to die in a car accident on our nation's highways than you were to catch this virus and have it impact you in any way.
Here's my question for you. We couldn't produce the vaccine quick enough, so they only gave it to certain people, and they kept the restrictions in place because we were moving very slow. All of a sudden, last week or the beginning of the week, I hear that Mr. Biden, now president, has now ordered 500 million doses to give to other countries. I mean, why don't you first finish your country? Don't we finish over here, give everybody enough, even if they don't want to take it, at least have it stored in places ready to go. But again, we have to go support somewhere else, spend billions of dollars somewhere else instead of doing it in our country. And this is a game, and I don't have an answer. And I want somebody to answer me. How do we let them get away with it? By the way,
this is the agony. Like their entire goal was to get Orange Man bad out of office, and they did it. And we're watching these clowns in action. It's absolutely terrifying. You talk about you're opening up and California's opening up. You got to remember, for someone living in the last free state in America, Florida, what you're saying might as well be ancient Sanskrit. Wow. We were closed down for 2 weeks in March of 2020. That was it. Our kids have been in school. Everything has been open. Everything's been normal. When I was in Atlanta last week. It was still like a foreign country. I walked through the Atlanta airport. The only person not wearing a face mask. The only one. And I'm listening to this Orwellian nonsense come over the speakers that the TSA, in accordance with CDC guidance, wants everyone, even if you're vaccinated, to wear a mask. Beyond Orwellian, it was stupid and wrong. The CDC has not said that if you've been vaccinated, you need to wear a mask anymore. That's the point of a vaccine. Right. So all of these dutiful sheeple are walking around with masks across their face. It was insane. And everyone, the most fun I had, I got more looks of craven jealousy and admiration from married men who were walking next to their wives who were like, he's not wearing a mask. And I was like, brother, be free. Take it off. This is nonsense.
But
this is complete and utter nonsense. And and I was walking through, I'm thinking, this is nuts. I'm going to be on the news, arrested under federal charges for violating a federal law, which is insane.
Right.
And I was like, I'm going to do it. I don't care. I will go down swinging. This is so dumb. I can't put up with it.
Do you know they have I was hearing that they have a couple of hundred people that they have to fine $15,000 for not wearing masks on plane. One guy was drinking alcohol, but since the alcohol were little bottles and not sold on the airline, it doesn't count as eating or drinking, and he had to be fined and punished. I mean, now we found something else to punish our people with. It's stupid. The rule was you're allowed to eat and drink.
Well, you can't bring outside food into a movie theater.
You can.
You're cutting into their business on the airplane if you're bringing your own alcohol.
But that's just wrong. You can't just make laws.
It is wrong.
You can't. Now, here's my question for you, Chris. Is it possible? Is it possible? And I know you're going to scream. Is it really possible that Donald? I mean, everybody asks me every single day. Is it possible that Mr. Trump can come back as president in 24? And will he come back, or is it just gossip and rumors like?
I sincerely hope not, and here's why. I hope not, because I would have been okay if he had just shut up, or not shut up, if he had gone back to Mar-a-Lago and we welcomed him to Florida with open arms. But the fact that he's actually been actively saying that all of this is going to be investigated and overturned, and he's going to be reinstalled as president in August, 2 months from now.
No,
he said that. That's
really?
not something made up.
I did hear
he said that.
I did hear that.
That's crazy.
Okay.
That right there, he's done. He is not qualified to run for office again. That is insane.
Too bad.
Hillary did her 4-year international tour whining about the fact that she's really the president. Stacey Abrams is whining about still that she's really the governor of Georgia.
I know.
That's different than claiming that a federal investigation is ongoing and that marshals are going to march Biden and Harris out of the White House and bring him and Pence back in. That's crazy town. That is not funny anymore. That's really crazy.
Yeah, I agree with that. But so basically, who's going to run against Biden? Do you think Pence will even try to run against an incumbent, or is he going to wait till 2028? He's young enough to do that.
Well, I think this is kind of the Republicans to lose, because the bizarre choice, the Democrats, thank heavens, boxed themselves into this mess with their identity politics nonsense. I've never seen a party leadership be so divorced from the normal rank and file. Like 75 to 85% of American voters in general, when asked, like, hey, if you have to show an ID to, say, rent a car, wouldn't it be reasonable for you to show an ID to prove that you are an actual registered voter? And more than 80% of voters, Democrat and Republican, say, of course that makes sense. So the Democrat leadership has been pushed so far to the left by these flaky maniacs, these Jew haters like Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, that they've boxed themselves in this really weird position. Kamala Harris is like insanely unpopular among Democrats.
Yeah.
And Biden was dumb enough to choose her as vice president. Biden is not going to run again. I don't know if I give, personally as a person, I hope he has a long, happy retirement list in 95. Great. If he stopped doing everything right now, that'd be wonderful. As a politician, God, it's a nightmare. He's not going to run again. But the usual choice of who should run would be Kamala. But she is lose-lose. If they put her up as a candidate, they will guarantee a Republican win. So all the Republicans have to do is stay normal, pick a rational person that ain't Trump, and we're going to take back the White House.
Who do you think, Pence?
Could be. He's a totally competent guy. But I would be more inclined to think like a Ben Sass or
DeSantis. Come on, say it. Say it. He's great. He's
young. Well, no, God, that we'd lose him here. We might get a flaky Democrat to run Florida.
I don't care about that. We need somebody to help the country. You got to give him to us. Come on, you can't be greedy. You got your time.
DeSantis?
Yes, DeSantis.
DeSantis would be good. Unfortunately, my dance card is full, so I'm busy, so I'm not going to run. But Ron could do it. He'd be good.
Well, everybody's saying they're considering him, and he comes out. He's not scared to talk. I'm so proud of him. He is not scared to stand up. We now, again, next year, after this election, which I know is far away down the line, because Cuomo is really trying to play trying to fix up his image, which we're not going to let him forget that. He's going to be running for governor, and we know he has no competition. We have Andrew Giuliani.
Which is so insane.
I know.
What I find baffling is,
and you know what's Chris, and you know what I'm going to upset about? We, the Jewish people, are going to be the leadership, which I'm going to be, and hopefully I'm going to make sure it stops, are going to kiss Governor Cuomo's behind, and because he's going to throw something at them, and they're going to support him after everything he's done, and he's picked on the Jewish community. I know,
it's madness.
And we're going to give in to them.
They forget. We forget.
We don't forget. I won't forget.
I think people do forget.
Well,
I think people are stupid and they don't remember how they were walking around terrorizing, giving massive fines.
Yeah.
You couldn't. They had photographers all over the Jewish areas.
Right. He was sending photographers.
Actually arresting people, bullying them.
Criminal tickets.
Yeah.
And they promised us they'd wipe out these tickets. So I'm telling everybody, be a little more patient. Hold off on them. Postpone them. Adjourn them. I will get us amnesty. You know, now the courts have opened up. And again, they are doing a lot of it virtual. All of a sudden, we can now go to court, but they're still not allowing us to evict people who are not paying rent. And the government, I just want you to know, Chris, for your knowledge, people have been a right to apply for government rental to pay their landlords. Yes. And what they're doing is they're not paying their landlords. They're keeping the money or they're paying part of it. So again, the government is giving the money and they're still not letting us evict, even though the people are working because they don't qualify for all of the rent. And they're just torturing my landlords. They're torturing my building department owners.
And raising taxes.
Right.
Why are you raising taxes during a pandemic?
You know, I'm looking for volunteers to work for me. About $15 an hour, we're paying whatever it is. And people are saying, why should I come work for you? Because I'm making more money. I promise you.
Unemployment.
Yes. Sitting around. But this is the great nightmare that's about to come, which they just don't get, is that, yeah, you're going to be handed more green slips of paper with big numbers on them. But those green slips of paper with big numbers on them, you know, one of them that has 100 on it used to, you know, would be a lovely night out for 3 people and a nice dinner, and it's gonna buy you a loaf of bread. So yeah, you're gonna keep getting lovely slips of green paper, but they're gonna be worthless.
I know,
and it's already happening. Inflation is coming. We're going right back to the Carter years and worse.
I know.
It is a absolute nightmare, and they are so. It is painful to watch the unraveling. And I have, unfortunately, incredibly little hope because
stop, Chris. You can't do that to us. You got to give us hope. You can't.
Here's the hope. Here's the hope. Here's the hope. Here's the hope. That what I truly believe is that when people take the time to wake up and realize that because you've been a generic good person, working hard, taking care of your family, getting your kids in school, even while the woke idiots are destroying the schools, not even opening them last year in New York, and when they are there, busy destroying them because somehow, achievement and competition are not just the natural state of humanity, but somehow are some example of something insane called white supremacy. It's madness. And the more and more people that are waking up to this nonsense and pushing back, that's my hope, is they've said enough is enough. I had, the media Democrat complex screaming in my face for years about how awful Donald Trump was. I had Kamala Harris and all these other Democrat senators besmirching the name of Brett Kavanaugh over completely insane, baseless allegations from a flake who claimed something happened 28 years ago. She can't even remember. That was cause that a man shouldn't become Supreme Court justice. Our handsy, sleazy governor has got, 25 women coming forward now with very, very credible stories, and the national media shoves their fingers in their ears and go, la, 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 and then they wonder why no one trusts them.
I know. I want to tell you something. All of what you complained about is bad. Here is something worse. Children between the ages of 11 and 14 are now having some mental issues and have also
huge.
the rate of, I couldn't believe when I heard it, the rate of suicide, the rate of mental issues has gone up by 30%. I'm talking, these are not you and me. I understand I'm crazy, Chris. Soy, of course, is nuts. No, I'm joking.
You would recognize nuttiness, wouldn't
But
you?
none of these idiots, cared about any of this.
Right.
They didn't care about the Wuhan virus except to tell me that I can't call it that because the Chinese communists want me to call it COVID-19. That's all they cared about. They don't care about this country. They don't care about these children. They don't care about a damn thing.
But there's no
and the
way,
more
there's
people
no way we can
come
help
to
the
understand
children.
that, the better.
There's now we're screwed because these children have issues, and it's going to be so hard to fix them. And all we had to do is get them out, get them to schools. I'm so happy I opened those parks up in New York City because so many of them just needed to breathe. But there's so many of them that were locked up, and a lot of their parents kept them home. You know, I have a competitor running against me, Amber Adlan. I know I just got a text from the producer. Do not bash her. I'm not bashing her, but she had 2 children. She kept out till 11 o'clock at night. I mean, you can't do that. She had them wearing masks, never going to school. She couldn't have even give them a school choice because wherever she went, and we saw her going to different events or packing stuff, she kept taking the children with her. So they didn't even do in school or on the computer or video learning. So again,
Crazy.
you can't do that to children. And children are very important. I'm telling you now, I have no problem with my competitors. I'm much more qualified than them, and I don't think that they're ready to take the seat in city council. You know, I'm so proud of so many of the councilmen that were there before. A lot of them were no good. I know that the person that I'll be replacing was just a wonderful, great guy. The man just was outstanding. And here's my problem. If they want to get you, Chris, I have a guy now, a friend of mine, he's a reporter. And he calls me every day. And he says to me, Heshy, they're going to come get you. They're going to find a way to get you. And I said, what do you want me to do? Oren, you want me to not fight? You want me to stay? He says, watch your back. Get yourself security. I have a young girl that loves me very much. She's a black girl who's a friend of ours, a young one that we always work together. And she says, Heshy, we're sending you security. I have a friend of mine from the Bronx. We're sending you security. I said, I can't do that.
Excellent.
If I'm going to live in fear, then what use is it for me to be here? I can't do that because if I'm in fear, then the rest of you, how do I protect the rest of you? And we're lost.
Yeah, but there's a difference. There's a difference between living in fear and having someone rational watch your back. Right? There's a difference. There's a difference between those things.
Well, my job is to watch my people's back. My job is to watch my family. I think I'm qualified. I'm young enough, Chris, and I'm so ashamed because I'm wasting. You know, Chris, I tell people they invite me to speaking events. Like tonight, I'm going to go afterward the show. We're going to go to another event. I go to the fundraisers begging for money, Chris, really, and I stand there embarrassed because I know how to tell a story, I know how to collect the funds, but I'm embarrassed because I'm wasting hours and hours and hours of stuff when I could be helping the community. Forget the money that I raised that could be helping the community, but hours and hours of my time going out and pitching for me, not pitching for you, Chris, or for a food program like I usually do.
It's the same thing, and this is part of the problem. This is part of the cost of getting into the position, right? You have to do that. You have to get that message out.
I got that, but
you
I'm
have to ask for
ashamed.
support. That's fine.
But I'm embarrassed, Chris, because that's not who I am, and I want to tell this to the public. You know, my sister did a video with me, and I never let her do a video.
Yeah, it was great. I saw that. That was awesome.
And I didn't want to do a video. I really didn't. Everybody kept telling me, my advisors, my friends, politicians, Heshy, you got to show the people who you are. And I said, I can't do it. It's just wrong because. And then one day she bumps into one of the assemblymen, and she takes a picture in school, and he says, why don't you do a video with your brother? So Esther comes over the other day for dinner. She says, I want to do a video with you. I said, Esther, are you sure? I want to do a video with her. And I couldn't believe it. There was usually with like my wife now, I did 71 takes or anytime. Esther got it on the first crack. I swear to you, guys, I swear to you. This girl, I know you think she has Down syndrome and there's something wrong with this girl, but this girl has it on. I'm so proud of her. She has so much love. Chris, the girl actually, when you're standing here, Chris, when you come in, you're going to meet her. The love that just it comes out of her body. It just surrounds you, and you feel like every time I'm sitting with her, I can't stop smiling or laughing. She just makes me happy. Even when she's angry at me, she makes me happy. The other day, she left her pocketbook by my house, so I told her to come get it, and she says to me, Heshy, don't you dare take any money out of there. I said, Esther, why would I steal from you? She says, and I asked her, why would I steal from you? She says, because I have more money than you. You know?
And you're a politician now.
I know.
That's what we expected to do.
I know that. You know what Linda told me afterwards? Esther took her pocketbook and said she's going to count every dollar. I hate that little peerwish. You know, I love her. But that's the beauty of it. And I didn't want to use the family. I do use my granddaughter. The reason I use my granddaughter is because I just love her. My children don't like it. But she's so delicious. And I want the world to see that the family that I've built. But again, I'm embarrassed because I don't want to use them
Who's Lee Zeldin? Somebody's asking
he's running
about the support for fellow Jew Lee Zeldin if he gets Republican nomination for governor.
Right. So Lee Zeldin, did you hear about Lee Zeldin, Chris? He's running for
No, never heard of it. Who is this?
He is somebody that's somewhat popular in New York. He's running for governor against, he was really like, him and Derek Gibson were running for it. And Lee Zeldin did have some kind of a name and he's pushing it. Now that Andrew Giuliani jumped in, again, right away, Andrew has the name recognition. He's making he's already raising money in the tens of thousands. So I believe that Lee had a good shot, but now with Andrew there, I don't know. I mean, Andrew's name is solid. I mean,
well, I gotta ask, and I want all New Yorkers to think about this carefully, right? Under King Cuomo's watch, the state is going down the tubes. People are fleeing by the tens of thousands. Most of them coming here and bugging me and into my backyard. I'm feeding the gators. But aside from that, how could anyone vote for this guy again? He's coming to his fourth term. I mean, just on the basis of that alone, you want to change. He's been sitting there polishing his muscle cars in the front of the governor's mansion, and you know, his daughter dates a state trooper, and he sends him up to the border to get away from her. Like, enough of this clown. How is anyone still voting for him?
I don't know. And you know what? I promise you, Chris, when I get into city council, I mean, whatever it is, I am going up against him. Not me. I'm not going to run against him, but I'm going to make it my priority to raise money, to push Cuomo, to make fun of him every minute, to go after every reporter. I'm going to cause him so much trouble when I'm there. Everybody, every day, the first thing I do in city council and city council TV.
Joke of the day?
The joke of the day will be just to make fun of Cuomo. Because we can't have him back there. $2.5 million, I heard something that we're going to have to support him.
He's a pompous jerk. He really is.
I know.
He just is. Who wants to have such a pompous person sitting in office, looking down at everybody, murdering people, and just... And he keeps going.
By the way, Chris, my daughter-in-law, I want to tell it to the crowd, she had some issues for a few months. She's better. She's coming home soon.
Excellent.
They took her trek out. They took her thing off. She took today 124 steps. And you know how I know she's better, Chris? You have to say how.
How?
She asked you for shoes?
She asked me for shoes.
Manolo Blahnik?
Whatever, something with Mucci, Chuchi, or John.
Gucci?
Not Gucci, the other one, the Chinese guy.
Ferragamo?
No, come on.
The Chinese guy?
The Chu, Lucci Chu.
Oh, Jimmy Choo.
Jimmy Choo's.
So you know what? I'm saving my pennies, Chris. I might call you for a loan. $1,600 for shoes.
You're getting
well,
cheap.
we'll have to raise a big syndicate to pay for those.
I
Absolutely.
know that's crazy, but you know what? She comes home to me. I don't care what.
That's great.
I'm so happy, and people are coming home from the hospital now. Family members are sitting there. That's why we don't have the deaths, Chris. People are sitting in the hospital. We're getting them in. People are watching their relatives. That's why they're getting better. That's the reason what Mr. Cuomo and Mr. Blasio did not care in a lot of these healthcare places. Hey, You know, the other day when I went to the hospital, I made a video. And I went with Sawyer. They just kept me waiting when I told them that I was beaten up with a concussion. I told them that I just needed to go in. Oh, you have to wait. All she was interested in is you can film and video. I wanted to show you the rhetoric, the red tape, how they don't care. We walked through the emergency room, right, Sawyer? And we saw people laying there in secondary beds, just being ignored, asking and waving their hands. I walked over to one or two as we walked through it. They were dying for somebody to talk to them.
It looked like a third world
It
country.
did. And you see half of these nurses and doctors laughing or sitting on their computers. That's not their job. Their job is to take care of the patients. At the end of your shift, you do your paperwork, like in my office. You get your jobs done. You run around. You set your priorities. You go out and do your work at the end of the day, or put an hour away to do it. But they just have to stop and do it and enter and take breaks. And they get angry at me when I'm loading up. You know, I loaded up over 2,000 shopping carts. People were waiting online for an hour because they did their paperwork. They made them walk there, just load their carts. They came with their paperwork, just enter it in later on. They made old people in the 70s, the 80s suffer. And I stood there, went outside to talk to them, and they didn't like that I was, and people loved me there. People loved me, but you had one crazy person who didn't like me. She didn't like that I brought volunteers. And not only that, I didn't bring white volunteers. I brought black volunteers, Spanish volunteers. She got angry that the fat Jew white boy did something different, that I wasn't attacked in the place, that people actually liked me, and I organized stuff. I took stuff off the floors. I had things flowing better. But again, like you said, and this is my next question to you, we have, not only in New York City, across the country, anti-Semitism,
crazy.
And nobody's stopping it. I don't know how to do it. In New York City, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to figure out a way how to stop it, and I really mean it. I'm going to sit down with every community leader. I'm going to walk around. I'm going to set up a whole coalition. This is going to be not my first thing I'm going to do. It's a very serious item that I'm going to deal with. And if these judges and these courts, I don't know how to get rid of the judges, but I know we have a good legal system in community.
The challenge you have. The challenge you have is we have the same sort of urges here in Florida and in Georgia and in Texas, and you know why we don't have the same results? Because the Second Amendment is respected here, and the sleaze know that there are serious consequences if they try something, and so therefore only the truly focused give it a shot, and they rapidly find out that was a bad idea.
You're starting.
It's self-correcting.
I know.
What is insane in New York is the rational, honest people have voted to disarm yourselves. It makes no sense. I've got no idea why you do it. You should reverse it.
I know.
Period. And all this problem will go away. That brave guy who's going to run up and try to punch someone in front of the synagogue, you know what? He's not going to. Because he's going to end up dead, and no one's going to care.
I'm ashamed to tell you I was one of those guys. I'm still on the fence, but I'm ready to switch. I'm starting to listen to you, Chris, even though I'm against it because I'm scared.
Someone just asked if they caught the second guy, if they ever caught him, the second guy that attacked you.
They brought me, you should at least see this, Chris. They brought me pictures that have no matching of the guy. And they said, I said, this guy, and I showed them the picture that I had of him. Well, he has a headdress on and his face is half covered. I said, but look, his lips are exposed, his eyes are exposed. No, I mean, come on, you're not even close. And I told you about the hair, not even close. And you're bringing me pictures. Where did you get these pictures of? You're trying to trick me.
They don't have a computerized system where they just match up?
And they never called me back after that. And they never called me back. And this, it's just a shame. And you know, it's the detectives. It's not the police guys. And one of the detectives was the one who arrested me in the first place. And she was so mean to me when I threw her out of it. I told her, get out, get out. I said, you wouldn't let me use the bathroom. She was only for a half hour. I said, first of all, it's 4 hours. And only because I threatened to take a leak in her car. But and here's the worst part of it, Chris. The worst part was at 12 o'clock at night when they finally let me talk to my lawyer on the video, they opened the door and they listened into my conversation. They listened in and I couldn't. Right. This is the way it works. I don't know. Chris, I don't know how to get rid of these judges, which I'm going to figure out a way. I'm going to make sure that these judges don't understand that the city council, we, the people, control you. You have no right to sit over there. I mean, the judge actually told me, Well, even though you showed me evidence and proof it wasn't certified. I don't understand you. Because one lady doesn't
Insanity.
like me and I showed you evidence and proof. You're not even reviewing the proof. She's not even reviewing it. And the prosecutor spoke to one of the witnesses who told him a different story. Again, all they're out is was a political thing. But the people who come to, now remember, Chris, they didn't bump into me by mistake. They drove into a heavily Jewish neighborhood.
Somebody said we need
Yep.
more affordable housing, so the next person went and wrote, knock down UN building, replace it with public housing.
Oh, Chris is gonna like that one, right, Chris?
Do you know what do you know what the UN, with the site where the UN building is now, what it was before the Rockefellers gave it to them to build it? Do you know what it was?
What?
It was an abattoir. It was a slaughterhouse. So arguably, it was cleaner before they stopped it, and that was only given to the city by the Rockefellers because they were going to charge them a special tax under an inheritance law, and so they donated it to their clever lawyers got them to donate it to an international organization, which was a loophole they hadn't considered before, the New York or the federal taxation authorities, and they slid right out of that by giving that abattoir to the UN to build on.
We have great comments.
Are making individual decisions about their individual property and maintaining their communities the way they should, that you inevitably get, the budget for NYCHA comes out of the general budget, and you've got all these other competing demands that are real and pressing, and the natural thing is to slowly shrink the maintenance budget over time until it becomes this massive slum. Right. I don't know what it takes for my fellow Americans, fellow New Yorkers, who at heart I believe are predominantly excellent people, but everyone has to realize that the government, they make it way too complex. They do that deliberately because they know that people don't have time to pay attention to fix it. And you've got to demand that government be shrunk, that things be made simple and clear. And Heshy, one of the things that the New York City Council should do is instantly pass a law respecting the Second Amendment. Period. You want to solve the sleazebags and the shootings in New York City? Let honest people be armed. There's no mistake whatsoever. The top 20 most dangerous cities in America for gun violence are all controlled by Democrats and all have laws that restrict honest citizens from being armed.
I'm going to take that under consideration. By the way,
we have one more.
A lot of people say, NYCHA, they don't know what's going on. I did work in the New York City Housing Authority buildings. I did see ceilings down, mold, not one apartment. If a landlord would do something like that, they would freak out. They give violations in the tens of thousands. I see violations for a step with a minor crack, or you didn't file a report in the thousands and thousands of dollars. But NYCHA has no violations. They're scared of them. I'm telling you that they have to be watched and looked at. Go ahead, sorry.
We have another question, but I think this really needs a lot more thought, and I think we're going to have to address it in the next show. But I just want to open up, and maybe, this way callers can call in next week and discuss it. Somebody wants to know if whether you support the current bill in front of the New York legislature that would make parental alienation a Class E felony.
You know what?
That's a heavy, loaded question.
When the court says that you have to let them see the children and you don't, it is a crime, and you couldn't get in trouble. The problem is there are so many loopholes. How you can hide your children, manipulate the system that you can make whatever felony you want. Again, if you can't find the child, or you get the husband deported to Canada like Amber Adler did, so he can't come back anyways to see the child. So the Canadian courts don't mean nothing to us, and some of these guys who get deported, don't have the money, so he can't even hire a lawyer to fight for him, or he can't come to court. So no, parental alienation is a very bad thing. The problem is if they're smart enough, a mother or a father or whatever, they can get away with it. They can hide the child for years. I've seen stories where the people hide their children for 8, 10, 12 years, and then it's too late when the child is grown up. But that's not what my issue right now. Like Chris says,
there's a lot of stories. It's a really big problem. It's affecting a lot of people.
And listen, I have a problem with the get problem with Jewish women in bondage, and we have tricks and laws how to keep women and suck them for money.
And there are people out there that lie.
Right. And we have children that are abused and how people get away with molesting them. I have young girls that I'm ashamed to tell you, Chris, that are being not abused, worse. I don't want to say the word to you, and there's nothing we could do about it. And
Terrifying.
you know about
Another person just wrote, what about when the evidence is extreme, really extreme, that there's parental alienation?
Right. So again, what are you going to do? Find one or two cases? You know, we have
Not one or two cases, Heshy. There's a lot of cases.
Do you know that we don't believe, people don't believe that there's something called sex trade or slave trading in the United States, right, Chris?
Oh, it's crazy.
It's a
It's so
business.
horribly prevalent. It's terrifying.
Kids
It's
get
absolutely
kidnapped.
But
terrifying.
how come, Chris, nobody knows about this? How come it's not being pushed? 39 children were found.
Because people don't know about things when it doesn't affect them. When they're going about, their problem is today I have to match my shoes to my outfit. Their problem is that I got a parking ticket. Their problem is, you know, that the gas went up. They're not thinking about things that are affecting a large percentage of other people. So when you're talking about, it sounds like a small percentage, but even if it's affecting 2 or 3% out of a state or out of a country, that's a lot of people.
Anyways, we're coming to the end of the show. Chris, give me your
Sorry,
final
Chris.
thoughts before the election, quickly.
Final thoughts. I hope everyone takes a deep breath. They take a real solid look at, you know, the things that they really need to change. You know, government should be this boring thing that does necessary stuff. It should be an honor for a citizen like Heshy or anyone else be called to say, I can add some value to my community. I've got a lot of experience. I can be a voice of reason and help us, you know, right this monstrous ship. But for too long, it has been viewed at the local level, at the city level, at the state level, at the federal level, as this profession. Nothing is more horrifying than the belief that, you know, being a politician is a job, and we've allowed it to become that. So, you know, you could make real impact in New York City, and that's where it really matters. We're watching this nightmare. So is pointing out the horror of human trafficking. All of that is caused by Biden and Harris having been infected with Trump derangement syndrome and opening up the southern border. All the people that are benefiting are coyotes and sex traffickers who are, you know, smuggling children across for sale. And how this is twisted in the media as it's somehow this, you know, great thing, and anyone who wants a strong border is this horrible bigot that doesn't like Latinos. It's craziness.
Well, I love you, Chris.
Craziness.
We're out of time. You watch me. Keep your eye
Good
on
night,
the election.
everybody.
Good night, everybody. Chris, I love you as always.
Win. Everyone
And
go vote for Heshy.
I love you, Chris. I love you. Watch my show. Let's play the music and say goodbye, everybody. Don't forget to come back next week when I win the election.